and thank you so much for purchasing a 4th Street Creative template. This is the video walkthrough for the Urban Property Brochure. When you first get the link to the file, it's going to direct you to a page that looks like this, and you're going to want to hit Use Template, and that's going to bring the file into your own Canva workspace. And this is what it's going to look like. The first thing that I highly recommend that you do is go over to File and make a copy. And the reason why you're going to want to do this is because you might take a few left turns with the design. You might do something that you just don't know how to figure out how to repair or fix, or it just might look like a complete mess and you just want to start from scratch with the file. And this is just going to save you the time and effort of having to go through downloading it from Etsy again. So if you make a copy, you'll always have the master file available if you do take a few left turns with the design. So File, make a copy, and then we're good to go. The first thing you're going to want to do is uploads. Go over to uploads and upload an image or video, and this is where you're going to upload your listing photos, and they will all be in this area. I've already uploaded a few sample images, so I'm not going to go through that process, but this is where they're going to be and what they're going to look like. So what you're going to want to do is grab the image that you want to use for the front of the house and hover it over the image box, and that should pop right into place. If it doesn't, like what's happening right now, check to see if it's on lock, and this one is locked, so I'm going to go up here and unlock it, and then bring my image over the image box, and it'll pop right into place. Once you are satisfied with your image, you can double click and actually move it around, and once you're satisfied with it, you're going to want to lock it into place, and here's why. This box that we've provided for you, this square, it's an overlay file and it's an image file. And in Canva, when you have two image files, one over the other, and you try to move one, that's what happens. So it's a little bit wonky, it's a lot frustrating. So what you want to do is when you're satisfied with your image, you just hit lock, and then you can move this around without any headaches, and it makes the design experience a lot more fun. So just remember that every time you put an image in an image box, just to lock it, and then you don't have to worry about it. The next thing you're going to want to do is obviously change all this information to your own listing address, and a few things to note here. So if your listing address is longer street, and you see that it's taking up too much room here, what you can do is you can highlight it, change the font size, of course, to something smaller, or let's go back to 42, or if you like this size but the spacing's just a little off, you head over to spacing and reduce the spacing size in between the letters. That looks great. The next thing is, you can also change the font. So what we've done with this file is actually provide complementary fonts. So this font works really well with this font. So if you like it, you don't have to change it. But if you have your own brand fonts, you might have to change it. And you're going to do that by highlighting this, heading over to the font or text box, and putting in your own brand font. Same goes with the color. If you have your own brand colors, you head over to the text color, and you can grab your own brand colors here. Or what I love about Canva is that they take photo colors, they take the colors that are dominant in the photo. So you could actually do something really cool if you don't have brand colors and actually grab a color that's directly being taken from the image. And what that does is it helps make the photo pop, and it makes it look that much better. So that's something that you can play around with as well. Here's the URL for the listing. If you don't have a URL for your listing, you can always direct them to your own property, to your own business website, or you can add a tagline here, or you can remove it altogether. It's completely up to you. If you have an image that is white, so this is what that would look like. So if it's white, like a white space image, this white overlay box might not work. So we've provided an overlay folder with both a white and black square overlay. So you might want to use the square overlay backward, And there we go. You might want to do the same thing with this box, although it's not necessary, but you might want to make this box black and then the writing white. It's completely up to you. Here's the back page. So when this folds shut, this will be the back page of your tabloid brochure. And this is where I like to put images of either the backyard or additional images of the area or just of the exterior of the house. This is a great space to do that, and also to add some extra information about your listing. So if we scroll down for a second, you'll see that this area is for the copy for the house itself, and over here I've provided this area for just additional information. So that can be what we've done here, which is room sizes, or you can change it up completely. Delete one of these boxes, elongate this box, change this to the area, and you could maybe do a write-up of the area here, or you could delete everything altogether. I'm just hitting delete on my keyboard to delete these boxes. So I'm highlighting the box, making sure there's a green border around it, and then hitting delete on the keyboard, and that will just delete the box. Or you can highlight these boxes and actually drag them down and make the entire back page just an image heavy page, which looks great. This looks fantastic. And so now we're going to move on to the info banner down here, and that, let me see if I have a, yeah. So you're going to want to upload a high resolution image headshot, and when you do, you're just going to do the same, it's the same concept, just drag and drop into the photo box, and then you double click on that to adjust where it's situated in the box. When you're happy with that, like I always say, lock it so it can't move. If you don't have a photo, no problem, just delete the box completely, and then you can move all this over. Now, I just did something that I should mention. So when you highlight one box and then press Shift on your keyboard, and then click on another box, what it does is it groups both boxes together so that you can move the entire grouping all around, and you don't have to worry about trying to line everything up again. So this is a great trick to remember when you're using Canva. Again, you click on one box, you press Shift, you click on the second box, and it'll automatically group it. Now, if you want to permanently group it, you right-click on your mouse and hit Group, and then it's always going to be grouped together. So that's what it would look like without a photo. Now, for your logo, you might need to make this wider versus the square. So a rectangle versus the square. This is for places like Remax or Royal LePage that have rectangle logos. And then you're going to want to upload that logo and pop it into the box. And as you can see, what's happening is exactly what I said would happen when there's two image files. So let's undo that. And to undo, I'm pressing Command and Z on my keyboard. This is an image file, and if I lock it, I can take this logo, pop it into the box, and then just make sure that everything's visible. If you think this logo is too big, again, you can always adjust the sizing by double-clicking on the image box and just shrinking it down. There we go. Now it's smaller. That's nice. I'm just going to move it here. And that looks great. Now on to the second page. This is a very wide banner that's going to span the entire document. So what you want is to, once you've imported the desired photo, so let me just change the photo to show you. Oh, it must be locked. Yep, it's locked. So let me drag the desired photo in here. Oh, that's not very high resolution. Okay, that'll do. So I've just dragged the photo in, and I'm not happy with how that's sitting in the box. So I'm going to double click it, and I'm just going to move it up a bit. And now you can see more of the room, and that's the look that I'm after. You can play around with it to make sure that the room looks its best. This is the tagline, and of course you can delete this or change it to fit your needs. You could put the URL for the property website here, anything you want. Again, this is the name of the street, so you can change it to, you can change the font, the color, anything you want. You can even move it around if you're happy with it, if you want it more in the middle, completely up to you. This is an overlay. Just move that down. This is an overlay, so it is an image. You can change it, you can swap it out with the black one if the black one suits your needs a little bit better. Or you can leave it as is, or you can delete it completely if you don't like the look. So let's delete it. Let's say we don't like it. We're going to delete it. That looks great. Now you're going to want to change your images in the same way that we've been changing images so far. One thing to note is that this is the middle of the page right here, so these images will be folded. So if there's anything that's really important that you really want to showcase, like a fireplace that you think would really not benefit from being folded in half, make sure they're one of these two boxes. These are good for images like I've just put in here where there's no detail on this midline here, so it's okay. It's going to look great. It's going to look fine. This is the area for the property write-up, and if you don't have this much of a property write-up to work with, what you can do is just shrink the box to fit only in this area. This font you're going to want to increase because this is probably super small, so let's make that 12. Okay, it's not letting me do that, so let's just delete half of the text. So let's say this is all the text that you had. Okay, and now you want to add maybe another image here. The fastest way to do that is to make sure that one of these boxes is highlighted. So again, that's the green border around it. Right-clicking with your mouse, copy, right-click again, paste, and now you have the exact same size box that's right here, and you can input your own a new photo in this area here. You can change this, take it out, just change it to fit your needs. You can change the color. Anywhere where you see white, that includes up here, the background, if you highlight it and you decide that you want a different color, you can always do that. Can add a lot of visual appeal depending on what you want to highlight in your listing. So you can always do that. And then you can change the color to white to complement it. And that goes for all these little boxes as well. So this can be changed, the color can be changed as well. Okay, so with this file, you've received 3 icons that are optional. If you want to put them into your brochure, you absolutely can. If you don't think that they're necessary, then leave them out. But they are there for you to use, and I'm going to show you quickly how you can go about using them. So head over to the icons folder, upload them into your Canva account, and this is what it's going to look like. And in order to use them, you just click on the one that you'd like to use, and that will bring it into the document. This is way too big, so what we're going to do is shrink that down to about that size. Right here. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with this one and this one. So once the 3 icons are in place, you're going to want to tell people how many bedrooms and bathrooms and garage spaces there are. So you just simply press T on your keyboard. The letter T is in text, and that will bring up your text box. I'm just going to shrink this down because the text is too large. I'm going to drag it over here, and obviously I'm going to put the number of bedrooms, which let's say is 3. I've highlighted that 3 because I want it white to match the icons, and then I'm going to drag it down into place. And that's a little bit too small for me. So there we go. And then to make this super simple, I'm going to right-click, copy, right-click, paste, and right-click, copy, right-click, paste. And now I have the exact same text boxes twice more. And I'm just going to change the elements. When you're done and you're happy with how everything looks, you head over to download, and you make sure that this says PDF print. And if you're printing this on your home printer, that's all you have to do. You can go ahead and download. But if you are having this printed professionally, then you're going to want to hit crop marks and bleed, and then download. Once this is downloaded, it's going to be saved into a folder. And you're going to want to just open that up before you send it to the printer to make sure that everything looks good. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So as you can see, these are the crop marks here, and everything looks great. It looks like everything's in place. And what you want to look for is to make sure that, because this is where the printer is going to cut it, this mark here. So just make sure that the photo isn't underneath the crop marks, or that this gray box that we've created isn't shifted over to this area. You want everything to bleed out past the crop mark so that you have a nice clean line when they cut and there aren't any gaps in the design. So once that looks good to you, you can send this file directly to your printer. And that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this walkthrough. If you have any more questions or need any more help, please feel free to head over to fourthstreetcreative.com/tutorials to access our resource library filled with videos and helpful articles. Happy designing!